Welcome to the Real Healing Institute. So today we are talking about parables and the real meaning behind the one about the sower who went out to sow, and as he sowed, some seeds fell along the path and the birds came and devoured them, whereas other seeds fell on rocky ground where they had not much soil, and immediately they sprang up. Since they had no depth of soil, when the sun rose, they were scorched and withered away. Other seeds fell upon thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked them. Other seeds fell on good soil and brought forth grain, some 100-fold, some 60, and some 30. He who has ears, let him hear. Okay, so let's go through this a bit at a time. So as for what was sown on the rocky ground, this is he that hears the message and immediately receives it with joy. Yet he has no root in himself, but endures for a while. And when tribulation or persecutions come on account of the message, immediately he falls away. So what happens when you've been, like, let's say, pumped about something, and you're like, yeah, let's do the thing, and then somebody comes and they naysay it, and immediately you can feel that depletion of energy, right? That immediately, where the joy was, it's depleted and it's been taken away, and then it gets taken down into yourself, and you think, oh, okay, I guess that's not the thing. Has this happened to you before in your life? Let me tell you why. At that time, you were right. Whatever it was that you were believing in, whatever that thing was, you were right. But the problem was that you did not love and accept yourself. Therefore, when somebody else heard it and they did not deem it acceptable, you rejected it on the fact that you thought that you would be rejected because of that message. It wasn't you, right? But the message that you brought, or whatever thing it happened to be, was rejected by somebody else, and therefore you associated it with, I like this thing, so that means I'm being rejected. And because of this, we let go of all kinds of wonderful and amazing things that we're supposed to have in our life. Why do we do this? Because we truly don't actually love ourselves. We don't actually accept ourselves. And when we do, when that changes, then it doesn't matter what somebody else's opinion is and what it is that they think. And here's the best part about it. When that does not play into it anymore, you are no longer playing that chord. You are no longer playing that vibration of, ooh, what if this isn't acceptable? Even though when you delivered the message, I'm sure that was not top of mind. You were pumped about it. But if you were carrying it within your energy, within your energetic vibration, within the frequency that you are, playing that certain string of, what if I'm not accepted, even though you're not even aware that you're playing that string, that is going out, and people glam onto it and they feed it back to you. And therefore they will reject something that they might have wanted to accept just because you are not accepting yourself. There's nothing wrong with this. This is something that we're correcting, something that we're changing. When you truly love yourself, you will find yourself having all kinds of people, situations, things magnetized to you. Because you are then playing that chord of, I love myself. And so people are like, what? They love themselves? Because they're picking up on that chord as well. And this is what they subconsciously want for themselves. Therefore, they will put themselves in proximity to you, or as close to you as possible, because it's what they want for themselves too. They want that energy to rub off on them, because it is subconsciously what we all know that we need to have. So, for what was sown on the rocky ground, this is he who hears the message, immediately receives it with joy, yet he has no root in himself, but he endures for a while. So when tribulations and persecutions come on account of the message, immediately he falls away. It is not even the message that he has rejected, it is himself. Okay, as for what was sown among thorns, this is he who hears the message, but the cares of the world and the delight in riches choke the message, and it bears no fruit. This means that they're hearing it, they know that it's true, but they think, oh, if I follow that, or if I leave what I'm doing, everything that I have worked so very hard for, that I have based my entire false life around, or my entire life around, might very well be taken away from me, because it will lose its importance. And to me, I thought this was the most important thing. So let's say that you're living in the mansion up on the hill, and you've got all the things around you, and you think, what would happen if I believed in that, if I accepted that, and didn't care so much about having all of this? And so then they will reject the message based purely on the fact that they don't want to lose their materialism. But here's the thing about it. You won't lose it. You will be blessed with even more. You will be blessed with even more. But people can't seem to comprehend or wrap their mind around, how could that be? If I'm not doing this particular thing or doing that particular thing every single day, how am I going to maintain and have what it is that I have? But this is the way of the divine, that you don't need to know how. It will just be so. And then you will have some kind of unexpected miracle that will be proving to you, wow, I chose rightly. But you can't be a half-timer. You can't be a faith half-timer of, I'm going to believe this day and not believe that day, or you will be blessed this day and you will not be blessed that day. Okay. As for what was sown on good soil, this is he who hears the message and receives the message and understands it. And he indeed bears fruit and yields, in one case 100-fold, in another 60, and in another 30-fold. That was from Matthew 13:3. But I am a Christ Letters teacher, and this is in the Christ Letters. So the purpose in sharing this knowledge of the truth of being with you in these letters is to enable you to grow in spiritual love and wisdom and bring forth the fruits and the blessings of such spiritual love and wisdom in your every moment of evolving consciousness. I long for you to be richly joyful. Therefore, let us together plow into your human soil of consciousness, turn it over, get rid of the stones of despair, break down the clods of non-comprehension with deepening wisdom, pull out the weeds of your negative mental, emotional patterns, and with my help, fertilize your soil of consciousness with ever-increasing faith. And then sow even more beautiful seeds born of your evolving spiritual perceptions and unconditional love. My joy will be your joy in this endeavor, and your joy will be added to my joy. In this unity of purpose and achievement, you will eventually feel that you are indeed of my spirit, and my spirit is being poured into you. And in this way, we will experience that oneness of that out of which we have both taken our individuality. My thoughts will become your thoughts, untainted by your former ego consciousness. I have described the process, the path, along which you will travel to your most sublime and perfect heart's desire. This was page 234 if you happen to have the book. If you remain having weeds in your consciousness, meaning having negative thoughts and attitudes and believing that the things that are happening to you are not happening for you, but that they are happening, you will continue to plant more seeds of this rather than of heaven on earth. Let me give you an example. Somebody cuts you off in traffic. This happened when we were on a trip. We were out in Portland going to go work with somebody, and somebody was driving, slow or however they were driving, and so we couldn't cross this one street. And so the guy that was driving, he got, temporarily all mad, and I said, "No, man. Don't you know who we are? Everything is happening for us. Every single thing. So who knows what that just prevented or what that caused or what's going to happen because that happened." And it was about 2 minutes later that we're driving down the road and a rainbow hits the front of our car. Actually touches the front of I probably have a picture of it in my phone. Actually touches the front of our car. It was like, do you understand that everything is happening for us, and that even taking 30 seconds to think, oh, that idiot driving down the street in this way, or whatever it was that he happened to say or think about it, it was a blessing. Why would you curse a blessing? So next time that something happens in traffic, or next time that somebody does this, rather than say, oh, I hate that, oh, I don't like that when people do that, rather than criticize, complain, and condemn, like it specifically says, do not do that in here, make an excuse for them and be joyful about it. Think, well, they must be really in a hurry maybe they got someplace that they really got to be. Maybe this wonderful, exciting thing is happening for them and they need to get there. Maybe there's a baby being born at a hospital. You just don't know. So just assume, and always just assume, that it's for something wonderful. Do you do things intentionally to piss or harm people? No, you don't do that. You don't intentionally try to make people mad. People might get mad, but you're not intentionally trying to do it, right? Nobody is. Almost nobody is. So just assume that they're not. That they're doing something wonderful. And then what happens in that moment, rather than getting worked up and upset and thinking, oh, this happened, and feeling a certain way and allowing your ego to take over and your mind to bring you down from your former state, think, no, everything is happening for me. That person cutting me off, that happened for me. It wasn't even just for them, it was happening for me. And when you begin to believe in this way, because we know that our entire reality is based on what it is that we believe, then you will see proof of this everywhere, all the time, always. You'll think, I don't know why, but this amazing, wonderful thing happened for me. Yeah, I don't know about this too, but this amazing, wonderful thing happened for me. And all the things that are around you that you normally would have thought were some type of negative thing, you will understand are happening for you. And when you can truly love yourself, and I mean love yourself, you might think that you do right now. You might think that you do. And you might. But you can always love yourself better. Think about the negative chatter that you have inside your head. And do you downgrade yourself with any of your thoughts? Do you ever say, oh, that was stupid. Oh, I'm an idiot. Oh, or, any of these kinds of things. Do you ever do that? Or do you ever think, oh, I'm not smart. I'm not good enough. Oh, I can't do that. I can't do this. Do you ever think these things? These are thoughts of someone that doesn't love themselves, because somebody that really truly loves themselves knows that they are made in the image of the divine creator, and that there is absolutely nothing that they cannot do or accomplish, and that they are perfectly and wonderfully made, just like everyone else. So if you have any of these negative thoughts, it's just time to get rid of them, because they're not helpful to you. Have they helped you even one time? They haven't. All they've done is taken you from a way that you were thinking to taking you to an even lower way of thinking. Super harmful. And because you're playing those chords within your body, if you're still thinking those thoughts, then you will attract situations that will prove those things to you. It's not truth, but it's proof of belief. Meaning if I think that, I'm not very smart, well then, and I'm playing that chord within me, meaning I just hold that belief within me, so that vibration, it's like a guitar string, is playing subconsciously inside of me, then I will be presented with situations that will prove to me, oh wow, yeah, you're not smart. No, you didn't understand that. No, you didn't get that. Whereas if you believe that you're a genius and that you're incredibly smart, then you're going to have situations that prove that to you all the time. And people are going to tell you, man, are you smart? Are you a genius? And all that you're getting is proof of the beliefs that you hold within you. So you might as well hold beliefs within you that are helpful to you. And you might say, well, yeah, but then they're not true. But they are true, my dear. I'm telling you, the way that the world operates is that what you believe is the truth. What you believe becomes the truth. It becomes the truth for you. It might not be the truth for other people. But that's not because they're living in your vibration, in your frequency, in your world. This is why there could be a whole entire group of people who all believe different things. They all go out for one evening, have the exact same evening, exact same environment, exact same people, exact same conversations, and yet they will leave with a completely different perception than the other people that are there, based on the vibration and the frequency that they're playing. They will hear things that were not said because our minds are just interpreting and reading between the lines every time that we hear something, and we flavor it with our beliefs. And so you could go out and you could listen to the exact same speaker, and people might leave and they might think, oh yeah, this or that, but there might be things in there that trigger them or that hit them in a certain way and that make them think certain things, and other people didn't even perceive that that was in the show because it more than likely wasn't. And it was something that was read between the lines, or it was something that was spoken but somebody took in a certain way because of how they believe, and this person took it in a certain way because of how they believe. This is why when you see certain quotes, they will hit you completely differently than they would have at another time. Had you read something 5 years previous to how it means something so deep to you now, it wouldn't have had the same feeling. It changes meaning over time. You understand it deeper. There's deeper understanding. It is like how Christ talked about a mountain. And he said, I could tell you all about this mountain. I can tell you all the things. I can tell you about the rivers and the flowers and the trees and the rolling hills and the animals that go through and the deep crevices. And I could tell you about the rocks and the type of rocks that there are and how they feel on your skin. And I could go into all kinds of great detail, but you would not know that mountain the way that I know that mountain. And it's true, because we base it all off of our perceptions, things that we have seen previously, and the beliefs that we hold within us. So even though you could visualize this mountain, you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know the smells. You wouldn't know the feeling. You wouldn't know it intimately, like somebody who's describing it to you would know. This is how we change our perceptions over time, because eventually then you go to that mountain and then you think, oh, I get it. I get what he's talking about. Oh, and how he was talking about those waterfalls and all of the details that were there. It's like then you really understand it. This is just like anything. You can hear these spiritual talks and gain wisdom from them and knowledge from them, and every once in a while one will hit you so deep and you just think, wow, something inside of me just changed because I understood this on a completely different level. And then you could send it to somebody else and they might receive it, and it's not going to do that same thing for them because that wasn't the thing that they needed to hear. They needed to hear something from some other video or from some other talk or from some other quote, because they're where they're at and you're where you're at. And we want other people so desperately to just understand and see where we're coming from so that they can all hop on board too, right? We don't want to, when we've cleansed our mind of all these ego-based things and all the negative attitudes and all the complaining and criticism and gossip and judgment, we don't want to hang out with those people anymore. But we still want to hang out with those people. But we just want them to understand where we're coming from. And so we want everyone to hear the message and to be like, hey, so that we can all live together in harmony. And this is what is happening. This is what we're creating here in this world. This is the ultimate goal. This is what's going to happen. But at the beginning stages of that, before it becomes the popular thing, before everybody knows about it and everybody's talking about it, there's those stages where you could lose your faith because somebody criticizes it. But it's not that you have lost the faith in that thing, although you might allude it to that and you might get rid of it altogether. Like I said at the start, because you have associated it with being rejected. But it has only come from the fact that you rejected yourself before you ever read it in the first place. It comes from the fact that you are playing the chord of self-rejection, and therefore other people are going to reject you because they are going to mirror to you that you are holding this within you, so it is a gift that they are giving. When they reject you, then you can think, I am still rejecting myself. Thank you for showing me this. I need to work on this. I need to love and accept myself more. Because even that you could look at as a criticism, as a negative thing, but do not do this, because you will embroil yourself in the old fear-based hell that you lived in, and you don't want to do this. No. When you can understand that even this is a gift, even the rejection is a gift, and you don't need to know exactly why, other than the fact that it's being pointed out to you that you hold rejection of self within you, or others would not reject you. And if they reject the message, they are rejecting the message. It does not mean that they are rejecting you. If somebody rejects something that you say and you reject yourself, you will take that as they have rejected me, rather than they have rejected the thing that I said. And you don't know why people reject things. You don't know why. You don't know what beliefs that they hold within them that they are holding on to so deeply, because a belief is a thought that you just continue to think. And so when people continue to think thoughts that are harmful to them, or thoughts that make them live in a certain way, or thoughts that are rigid, it will be reflected in their life as not accepting things that people say, of nope, my way is the only way, or of whatever it is. I will accept whatever it is that people say, because that's the truth for them. And I'm not going to criticize it or condemn it. If they need advice, sure, I'll give them advice. But if they say, oh, I believe this thing, maybe I'll ask a question about it. But I'm not going to reject that within them. That is for them to figure out and understand, and maybe that is the truth for them. But when we accept people and when we love people, then we're not rejecting them, and we're not criticizing them, and we're not judging them. We're just loving them. And this is the way. This is the way. Because in heaven, are you rejecting your neighbor? No, you're not, man. You're not. You're accepting them and you're loving them because it's heaven. So we need to act as if it is right now, because it is right now. Because whatever it is that you believe in your world becomes the created truth. It is your creation. And it will be reflected in the world around you. I'm not just saying you think these thoughts in your head and then you just got to ignore the stuff around you. At first you do, because you were planting seeds for a long time and those got to play out. So you got to think about them in a different way of, thank you for this coming up. I'm never planting a seed like that again. Thank you for this coming up. I'm never planting it, and plant joy instead. And then pretty soon your environment reflects every single belief that you have. I mean, it already is currently, but it will reflect all the new ones, because all those old seeds have come for harvest. And you've planted so many new seeds that what you're seeing around you in your environment and in your relationships and in your friendships is something completely different than you experienced in the previous part of your life. Because you've actually created heaven for yourself. And it's a wonderful place. And it's a wonderful thing to experience and to have and to be living in. Because you're just going to keep planting more seeds as long as you do not take it for granted. When you look around you and you see the beautiful, extremely how is this even possible life that you are living in, as long as you are thankful and as long as you continue to be grateful for it and as long as you continue to plant those seeds and do not take what you have created for granted around you, you will continue to harvest the most beautiful life you could possibly imagine. So wherever you are sowing your seeds, let it be in fertile ground. And if you've got rocks in your soil, if you have weeds in your soil, you need to pull them out. You need to get rid of self-rejection. You need to get rid of negative or critical thinking or judgmental thinking. You just need to stop it. And pull those seeds out, and pull those rocks and those weeds out so that you can plant those seeds in that fertile ground and water it and nurture it and take care of it. Meaning, give your spiritual practice time. Devote yourself to listening to the Christ letters, to listening to spiritual guidance, to meditating on yourself so that you can get the message direct from the divine and you don't got to have nobody telling you nothing about anything. So you can understand the mountain for yourself in your own way. And you can tell people about the mountain and you'll say, you will not understand the mountain the way that I understand the mountain because I know this mountain so very well. And then you can teach other people how to create and understand and live and deepen their own understanding of the spiritual nature and the spiritual evolution that is at hand. I love you guys all so very much. Thank you guys for tuning in here today. I'm coming at you from Sedona, Arizona. We have Christ Light Circles. We do not have very many this month because we have several trips planned. I just got back from Canada visiting my grandbaby. That was absolutely amazing. He's the cutest little thing in the whole world, and I swear he just knew when he saw me that I was his grandma, and it was immediate bond. Love that baby. Oh, he's so wonderful. But we are headed to Mount Shasta here right away, but coming at you from Sedona, we hold Christ Light Circles. I will put a link for that down below. This is something that you can pop onto anytime that we have one through Zoom. You can just pop onto that link, save the link that you get when you put your email in. It'll be right there on the screen. Save it, pop it into Zoom, and hop on and join one of our circles. We do all kinds of things on these. We never know how many people are going to show up, but people always show up. And we get parables. We'll get messages for people. There'll be energy activations. There'll be all kinds of etheric guests that come through that give messages. There will just be all kinds of things that can help you to stay on the spiritual path and to get inspiration and guidance along the way. So you can check that out. Our calendar for June, I'm sure, is up on the site there. It'll be the very last link that I have here in the description. Anyways, you guys take care. Love you so much, and I will see you next time.